Biden administration has plenty on its plate, but it turns out it's like one of those TV dinner style subdivided plates, or like the kind of plate you get in the hospital, you know, where it turns out that there's like a whole segmented portion of what's allowed on their plate. A big portion of what they've got to deal with in any one day is cleaning up what's still stuck there and wrong there from the previous administration. And now tonight, Wall Street Journal was first to break this remarkable story, which NBC News has since confirmed, which is a very, very big deal. Here's the lead in the Wall Street Journal tonight. Quote, the Biden administration is in talks to offer immigrant families that were separated during the Trump administration around $450,000 per person in compensation, as several agencies work to resolve lawsuits filed on behalf of parents and children who say the government subjected them to lasting psychological trauma. The U.S. government forcibly taking little kids away from their moms and dads and refusing to return them. That is something that none of us will ever be able to make right. That happened in our lifetimes, in our lifetimes when we were citizens of this country. That happened in our names, and we will never be able to fully fix that. If you were ripped away from your parents, taken out of their arms as a little kid and forcibly kept apart from them indefinitely, how could that ever be made up to you? How could that ever be made up to your family? None of us will ever be able to make it right, and it was done in our names. And it will be the first bullet point on a long, well-organized list when a number of decision makers from the Trump administration who dreamed that up, when they check into the hot place where they're going to spend eternal damnation, that's going to be the first bullet point on the list that they use to check in for their eternal stay. But legally, our government under President Biden has been in the position now for months of needing to field these lawsuits from the families that had the kids stolen away from the moms and dads, deliberately traumatized by the U.S. government on purpose as policy. If this reporting tonight from the Wall Street Journal and NBC News bears out, those lawsuits are going to be settled now. The U.S. government is not going to fight them, they're going to settle them, and they are going to pay compensation to the families who went through this. This news breaking today while the administration says it's still trying to reunite about 200 families that are still separated, where the kids had their parents taken away by the Trump administration. But in terms of this compensation discussion, it's the Justice Department, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services that are involved in these negotiations now, and we will continue to follow that closely.